I've seen thousands of people do frontside 360s and helped dozens, and pretty much every single person I see that's struggling with this trick is doing it for one of these two reasons. So in this video, we're going to cover what those reasons are, what's causing them, and how to fix them. Because the thing I can't stress enough about a frontside 360 is it's actually a very easy, flexible trick where you need to be nowhere near perfect. But that's only if you're hitting all the fundamental underlying principles that make it work. So we're going to go and completely explain what's causing your frontside 360s to not work and how can you go and unlock these so you can go and start lacing them throughout the winter. The first mistake we'll see is not channeling the upper body throughout the takeoff. So here we can see my student, and as he goes and snaps his spin, he's going and holding his upper body position, not continuing the rotation. Well, a frontside 360 doesn't take much rotational power because you can finish it with counter rotation. If you don't have any rotational power coming off the lip, you're basically taking off with your chest 90, board straight, and that's going to make you need to use counter rotation right away to try to get it around. When you use counter rotation this instantly, it's going to elongate you, make it so your spot's no longer working, your arms being closed off, just a really uncomfortable situation. And that's going to lead into not being able to go and do the spot. What's another serious issue people have is getting the head locked into the spot. That's more a bonus one we'll talk about more later, because the serious problem that almost every single person learning a frontside spin makes is over snapping the upper body. See here how my upper body snapped far past 90? This is causing my board to rotate, my legs to rotate, and making it so I'm leaning over towards this right side. This is going to make it so I have to go and reconnect my upper and lower body, because when you actually snap this much, you can't go and just continue and hold this motion. Instead, you need to go and let the legs play catch up. And when the legs play catch up, it's the same thing as using counter rotation. So here you can see I'm basically just taking off in this straight position, no extra rotation being generated, over snapping and needing to counter rotate it a whole 270 to get it around. And you're just not going to get that smooth, effortless throw when doing it. This is a really good example. I'm coming in, my upper body is way too open. This is causing my board to preemptively rotate and then to try get snap generated because you can't be still coming off the lip. I'm going and over snapping my upper body, elongating me to my heels, taking the weight away from the balls of my feet, and making it so my legs are forced to play catch up. This is normally happening because people are riding in a too open up position or closing off too soon. Here I close off a little bit too soon, and this is making it so my head's looking up and over my shoulder, everything's connected and stiff, and that's causing me to go and start preemptively rotating. Here we have a really sick frontside 360 by Mons Roisland, and I want you to pay attention to a couple things. First, look at how much bend he's keeping in his upper body, trying to keep his weight as stacked over top of his board as possible. Next, look at how patient he is closing off his front arm. He's keeping himself completely closed, and that's making it so he has a really large range of motion to play with. So when he pops off, he's leaving, chest not even rotated 90. This is a big jump, and he's using a lot of upward momentum to get it inverted, but this is the same principles we want to be using. It's not about going and snapping hard, it's about snapping with a flexible enough range of motion that you can carry your momentum without going and overextending your upper body. So the difference between me and my friend here is when I'm going and snapping my spin, I'm continuing that momentum all the way through, where all of his power is being used to push upwards. So I still have a bit of rotation in the tank, and I'm going to continue that rotation right there off the lip. See how my front arm is now pulling, my chest is leading, my hips are following instead of being in this straight position. One other major thing you're going to notice here is the hinge in my upper body is way more pronounced. This is the secret and the key and the juice to all this good stuff. First, it increases the range of motion in your hips. The more hinge you have in the upper body, the more you can move your legs independently. This sets you up to shift your weight to your back foot, what's crucial for maintaining tail pressure. But really the main thing is it makes it so we can pop up and do our full snap in the same upper body posture we want for the actual spin itself. Even though we're leaving off our heels, we want to instantly shift our weight to being over the balls of our feet. Not only is it a more comfortable platform to rotate on, but it also goes and makes it so if we under rotate, it's not going to be a problem. Here, I under rotate right onto the knuckle, but because of this position, I'm able to absorb it and it's okay. And we can see how Mons is doing it. He's hyper exaggerating how much his upper body's over top of his toes. So when he pops up and snaps, he's still maintaining this upward body hinge. That will make it so he naturally has his momentum shifted and his rotation set over the balls of his feet, so he can dig in the toes on the landing. See how he's landing with his weight on the balls of his feet? That's exactly what we want to be doing. The last thing we're going to talk about before getting into body demonstrations is preemptive motions. Here, I'm preemptively setting my upper body into my heel edge position. This makes it so all I need to do is shift my hips back towards that back foot in order to be in my heel side wind up position. And then something really important here that I can't state enough, I'm waiting until after my heel edge to close off my upper body. Look at how patient I am with closing off my upper body before snapping. This is because the longer you hold your maximum closed off position, it's going to make it so you start rotating, pre-spinning, and the more we start pre-spinning, the less range of motion we'll have, the more likely we are to over snap the spin. And over snapping the spin is the biggest no-no. Then I'm maintaining the same upper body angle as I go and snap. And even though my legs are extending, I'm not going extending through my torso. Instead, keeping it pulled over in the same position the whole way, leaving with my chest 90. That's going to be your room of air. You never want to have your chest pop past 90 because once it does, your shoulder will start dripping down. Then I keep my head forward, locked at the knuckle, and let my body rotate around that spot, finishing in this blind landing with exactly the same upper body hinge we had on the takeoff. You can get most of these motions locked in at home before the snow comes. First thing we want to do is get our upper body positioned in a way that we feel comfortable snapping into a 90 position. We don't want to be taller where we feel comfortable snapping past 90. That's going to lead to overextension. So find a hinge in your upper body where you feel comfortable doing your close off, wind up, and snap. And that's going to be our range of motion and we want to build everything around. Next, we need to unlock our toe edge position. This is a lot easier if you have your hips shifted slightly back while keeping your upper body centered. This lets you go and get those hips open and move them adjustably and add extra bend without needing to be more stiff. Like if I'm stiff in this neutral position, it's going to be really hard to get closed off, get control, but as soon as we shift those hips slightly back, it really opens up everything for us while ensuring that we can leave off the tail of our snowboard, what's going to give you maximum pop. So we want to go and find our throwing position. Now we want to go and keep that same upper body angle and try to shift it down into that heel edge position for our setup carve. And I'm like, okay, same upper body angle, my weight's over the heels. This is exactly where I want to be expanding out of. And the last piece of the puzzle is trying to get a position as similar to this onto our toe edge. For me, it's just a slight little hinge forward, and now I'm like, okay, here, boom, boom. And this is all best done with your weight slightly shift to the back foot, and then when you transition from your toe edge, heel edge, close off, snap, trying to feel like your maximum range of motion is at this 90 snap. By keeping the proper hinge in your upper body, not only will it make it so your rotation's set over your toes, make it so you can't over snap, but it'll also make it so your spot is naturally there. So from this point, all we need to do is pop, keep our front arm leading the rotation, and keep our head steady, and we'll be able to do a really fantastic frontside 360. So with all that in mind, here's a recap on a frontside 360 that, if I'm being honest, isn't perfect. But we're not looking for perfect, we're looking for a good enough spectrum that lets us land no matter what. So we're coming in, adding that hinge in the upper body, preemptively adding bend into my legs when I'm still on the toe edge, waiting until I'm on my heel edge into closing off, a little bit early you might notice, and then I'm snapping, maintaining the same upper body hinge, making sure to not extend out of it, keeping my spot forward, leading with the front hand, and continuing the rotation. Here you'll see that I'm actually going a little bit big, and once you get really good at this, because the position's so stocked, so solid, you can just let your spot continue going downhill, and that's how you get those front-facing landings. So for everyone at home, remember, find that upper body hinge that lets you go and rotate without overextending, and then work your movements through it. And once you can do that, just make sure that you're not going and hitting your wind up too soon and you're really delaying your setup carve. The more patient you can be, the less likely you are to go and stop your motion or over snap. Because when we have a limited motion, it's going to be really tricky. And then anything you can do, like having your weight shifted to your back foot, increasing your range of motion in your windup, is going to increase your maximum range of motion, will increase your maximum room for air.